Good morning, everyone. I don't know if you know this, but it's actually very easy to become a winner in life. It's not very difficult, and all it takes is just a bit of consistency over time. It's literally what it is. So, I'm going to help you understand what being a winner is, how to get there, and then how to stay consistent over time. So, you might be wondering, well, how is this kid going to tell me how to be a winner? And you'd be right in saying that because I probably don't have as much experience or pain as you do. But if anybody rather, had a key to open reality in a different direction for you and the people surrounding you, would it really matter who the messenger was? And I say that because the power in the words and in the meaning is more important than the person who sends the message. They're more important than the person who sends the message. So if you're somebody who's looking for a key, looking for a gateway to open so that way you can experience a different version of reality, which very few people get to experience, you have to understand how to get there. And you have to listen. So, with that being said, the first step to gaining this new version of reality is to understand that people live by different rules in society. You and your neighbor live by different rules and have different results comparatively. And those results are not really the same, but they are. You both have a house, you both have a car, you both could drive to work, right? Nothing special. Now, take the person who doesn't live in your country, who lives in maybe a safer country, or even a more obscure country, but somewhere where they have that freedom that you don't, and they can do whatever they want there. Those people live by a very different set of rules in reality, and they work upon those and see the results basically all the time. But they didn't always see the results all the time. You gotta remember this. Stories of people becoming successful always revolve around a period where they're poor, where they're incapable of doing the thing that gets them to their wealth, right? Then there's us, who all we have to do is just take the lessons and apply them in our own lives. We don't even have to figure it out anymore. Do you understand? There's no more having to be super creative and trying to find some obscure path that only you can take. There are now guidelines to get to the best people in the world. There are now guidelines to step over there. There's no more, you don't have to try to make the rules of reality match the rules that the best people in the world follow. They're already laid out for you to follow. All you have to do is be willing to erase yours, which is very difficult because that is what your ego was formed upon. It was formed upon the fact that it could make its own rules of reality and be correct because, well, you survived. So it's not wrong. The rules that you made aren't wrong, right? But upon further analysis, you get to understand that your rules are, in fact, very wrong. And it's often a lot more times on the long-term scale rather than short-term scale. Short-term, you would be perfectly fine. However, long-term, maybe not so much. So you have to understand, to take away from this, we have to understand that we as individuals have different rules of reality compared to people who know how to succeed, and we have to adopt their rules and forego ours. The second step is patience. Patience meaning for me and for you that it's going to take time to get this done. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen next week. It's not going to happen next month. But it will happen. And as you wait, the closer it gets to happening. And then over time, you're going to take the small, minute steps. And then eventually one day, everything's going to click. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, year ago, 4 years ago, 10 even years ago. It's all going to collide. And then once you hit the top of the volcano here, poof, goes out. That's exactly what's going to happen to you, my friend, because you're watching this. And you're understanding that there are certain rules that you have to adapt. Now, do I know what those rules are? Kind of. I've got a rough idea. Okay? And so I'll lay out a few of these rules for you, and you can apply them in your life, and it'll probably come at least a little bit better. The first step is positive self-talk. This is basically a rule where it states that when you talk to yourself in your head, it has to be positive and it has to reinforce your capabilities. And if you do negative self-talk, you punish yourself by doing the thing that's your negative self-talking about to then give yourself positive reinforcement. Now, that might just sound like a bunch of word salad, but what I'm basically saying is if you tell yourself, oh, I can't go to the gym today, what you do is you go to the gym and you work harder than you normally would, which you should be working very hard anyways, which that'll be another rule in a second. And then once you work on that, right, with those like little spots of negative self-talk, you'll become invincible. Since your mind is the only thing you can control in a world where everything else is uncontrollable. So therefore, if you're going to control your mind, you have you have probably a very big advantage against people who let their minds wander and be controlling. Why is this important for us? Well, this first rule is important for us so that way when we go out and do things, we do not have a weakened mentality while conquering or doing the task that is necessary. That would be the importance there. Now, number 3, work 110% all the time. You really understand this if you go to the gym, if you're a gym goer. You'll understand this because going 110% means the moment that you think you're going to fail, you do that rep, right? That's going 110% since your mind is the only limiter there. That was the 100% was your mind then telling you that negative self-talk. So you went and positively reinforced it by giving 110% effort constantly. And then boom, you did an extra rep. And now your brain has no more excuses to tell you that you're weak or that you are feeble or that you're incapable, because you just proved in the physical realm of reality that you are better than that. And then you can raise that standard and do better than that. See where I'm going? You can raise the standard, or raise the difficulty, raise the challenge, conquer that challenge, and then get a new challenge that's higher and more terrible and more arduous and more tedious, and then complete that one. Now, does this mean that there's no end? Yes. But what else does this mean? If you really think about it, if there is no end to the challenges, how can someone tell me that I'm not improving? Also, if there are no ends to the challenges, how can someone else be quicker than me in improving, in this example, our physical bodies? You're always going to beat someone who goes to the gym because they feel like it if you go to the gym every day despite your feelings. Right? Simple quote like that. Helps you understand the ability of being 110% all the time. That consistency is what rules over your life. And now, last but not least, number 4. Rule 4, sorry. You have to prioritize your time because it is the only limited resource you have in your reality. Money is not limited. Your love is not limited. Your character is not limited in terms of strength, speed, whatever. What is limited is time. You only have X amount of years before you die, right? You do not have the time to debate on something which doesn't impact you directly. You do not have the time to dedicate your mind to something that is a fallacy or to something that does not help you, the individual, succeed. Because that time it will never return. That time is the thing which allowed you to make the decision to become a stronger person today and watch this video. That time won't be back. And that's why I have to give you a valuable video, which I have here, I believe. And that consistency and all the other rules that I mentioned in this video together will make you a successful person. Or at least better than you were previously. So, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And as always, we're here to help you help them.